Hi, everyone. How are you? Doing well, I hope. I'm doing all right. Just thanks so much for coming out to the room, wandering down many twisty passages, all alike, and finding yourself in this back room. I'm here to talk about a better edit button for your GitHub hosted data. Hi, I'm Potch. I'm a developer advocate at Mozilla. And I've been at Mozilla, it was just last week, for 7 years, which in developer years is 1,000 years. Obviously, I like something there. I am a developer advocate, which means my job is to learn about awesome stuff that's coming in Firefox and come to audiences like you and get you all super excited about it, and then hear everything that you hate and come back and advocate to get it fixed. Both sides of the job are really important. Today, I am not going to be pitching you about Firefox at all. I am at CSVConf because I want to be, and Mozilla said if I spoke, they would pay for me to travel. So here I am. I've been really wanting to come to this event for a while now, and I'm really excited to be here. Just a quick recap. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. Mozilla, not-for-profit. You probably know it because we make Firefox. We do all kinds of other stuff. There's actually a fair number of people in this room who might know that we also sponsor things like the Mozilla Science Lab and a bunch of other open data, open journalism, and just web-focused things that are trying to let the web and the openness of the web improve all walks of life. I'm happy to talk your ear off about any of those things afterward. And even though I'm not here to talk about Firefox, if you've got complaints, I am here. Find the logo, let me have it. Okay, so, CSVConf, it's a great little joke. And you look at the badges, and we've got this grid on our badge, right? And even though, it's the CSVConf, is this CSV? No, it's not CSV. It's a table. And why is it a table? Because most of us, when we think of messing with CSV data, we think of this. Or Google spreadsheets, or numbers, or, VisiCalc, right? Hopefully not that for your sake. But you don't think of this big file full of text and commas. You think of this interface. And why is that? Because editing raw data is non-ideal. I'm sure we've all gone in and had to manually clean up one of these files, and it's not pleasant. It sucks. So why do we have these interfaces? Because they're easier. It's so much easier. Even Excel, for all its warts, is an easier interface. So we've got all this data, and we're finally coming around to the idea of open data. We want to share this data all over the internet. We want to make it easier for other people to discover our data, to help us polish it, help us clean it, to add their own data, to contribute, to collaborate, to combine and make something better. And right now, the number one place we tend to put things is GitHub, right? CSV files on GitHub, JSON files on GitHub, tabular files on GitHub, all those things, shape files. And that's awesome, except for one little thing. The flow to edit that data used to be, go find your CSV file, open it up in here, and then email it back and be like, oh, I helped make some changes, or maybe you have a shared folder, all those things. GitHub is better for collaboration, but when it comes time to edit, you create a GitHub account, you open the command line, you git clone, or you can click the button, there are apps. You check it out, you make a new branch if you're being polite. Then you do all the amazing data work that you're really good at. This is the fun part, right? And then you add that file back to the repo, and you commit, and you craft a pithy commit message. And then you push it probably to your fork of the project, not the primary project. And then you open a pull request. And you explain what your changes were. And you submit your commits that you've made. And then a discussion ensues. And you respond to feedback. And sometimes they have really great constructive feedback of, oh, can you make me, we're trying to keep this particular style. Or, oh, it seems like there's a typo here. Can you go back? And then you go back to here. And this. And this. And you repeat. And this is a great flow for people who are super comfortable with the command line. That is not all people, and that's okay. I think one of the things we give up when we put our data in GitHub is we give up access to this huge community of people who are Excel absolute wizards or spreadsheet ninjas, and they can go in and massage your data, and they've seen every terrible thing that's ever happened to a CSV file, and they know how to fix it. And all those people might not know GitHub or Git. Git is dark wizardry, let's face it. You can become a Time Lord and rewrite history, but at a tremendously steep learning curve. There are happier paths than the path I just described. There are many desktop clients that let you grab something and edit it and send it back, but you still have to they're all really leaky abstractions. You have to kind of really know what's going on. They don't really cover up all that nasty complexity, and there's good reasons. Git is very complex. GitHub does a tremendous job for what they do at covering up some of that stuff, but you really can't avoid it. Finally, a couple years ago, GitHub added the edit button, which is, one of the best things to happen to non-coder contribution to GitHub-hosted projects ever. What does that look like, right? We've got the beautiful CSVConf website in GitHub, because they're mensches, and take a look. We've got this CSV file that's the schedule for this week. And GitHub is they've done all this great work around visualizing existing data, right? So they're not showing us a CSV file. They already know that that's not a great idea. They actually show a table here. And you can view the raw version, but by default, they show you this nice table. And they added this edit button, which is, even if you don't have access to this repository, what it's going to do is it's going to make a fork, send you over to your fork, let you make changes, describe what you did, and make it really easy to create a pull request. So what happens when you click the edit button? Look familiar? We're dumped back into text mode. What you could do is copy this, save it to your computer, or paste it into your spreadsheet editor of choice, make a bunch of changes, re-export as a CSV file, probably changing the formatting of every single line in here accidentally, pasting it back into this box, scrolling down, describing your changes, and then submitting it. And then the rest of the flow happens. Oh, can you make another tweak? Repeat. That's kind of cumbersome, but it is a path, and I'm sure there are people who do that exact thing, right? When presented with editing raw data like this, they're going to just use their clipboard, make changes, and come back. Even if you are a hardcore Emacs user, you're going to copy this into Emacs to make your changes because you want to be able to sling lines to eternity. This interface is great for quick typo fixes. This interface is great for all kinds of things, and it's amazing that GitHub offers it. Praise to GitHub for even offering this stuff and making this easier, but it is still ultimately editing raw data. How can we do better? Because in my mind, not everyone needs to learn to code. I actually think that's really important. I love this push to help people learn to code who want to. As a college dropout, learning to code is the reason I'm standing here, right? Learning to code opens all kinds of awesome opportunities. It helps you think about problems in new ways and how you take apart problems. It's a really, really great tool in your tool set. But I don't think everyone should ultimately be a coder. There's this subtle trend that's going along with data moving into GitHub and the learn to code culture, which is, oh, you found a typo on our website. Go edit this React JavaScript file. That's where the text lives. Or you want to localize it, right? And also you need to have our entire build tool chain, right? We on one hand, we're making it so much easier and so much more quick to build all this stuff, but we're really, really sacrificing the ability of people who are incredible data wranglers, incredible copywriters, amazing data editors, people who are willing to put in the time, are enthusiastic, and want to contribute to your project, and you're putting up huge technical barriers. Everyone should have the ability and opportunity to learn to code if they want to. It is awful and fun. You will hate and love the skills you are gaining. But I don't think everyone should need to learn to code to be part of the online participatory culture. I really strongly believe that. So what if we had a GitHub for data? So there are some tools out there, but a lot of data does live in GitHub, and especially very small one-off data sets, it may even make sense for the data to live in GitHub alongside the code. That's great. But how do we create a GitHub for data, or better yet, retrofit GitHub to be better at data? I have a really, really, really small, super demoware prototype demo I want to show you of what that could look like if the demo gods smile upon me. let's see. I've been working on a project called Wizzy, which is short for, which is jargon to get out, I apologize, short for WYSIWYG, which is short for what you see is what you get. And I'm going to walk you through the got this working yesterday flow of what it feels like to edit data. And by yesterday, I mean 11:30 last night. So I've already authorized this project, which is why you're not going to get the GitHub flow. But really, when you click login, I still require you to have a GitHub account. It just makes life way easier. But GitHub's going to say, hey, I need access to do some stuff on your behalf, like fork a repository, make changes, and you grant that, and you come back here. GitHub's amazing because you don't even, I don't even have to know your email address to make this work. In fact, GitHub won't tell me your email address. So it's really, really neat that GitHub lets you authorize specific access. They're very granular in that way. And we've got this gorgeous interface listing recent projects I've touched, which consisted of me doing a code search for files with CSV in them, and then also the CSVConf website. So we're going to go into that project. It's actually making a bunch of GitHub requests in the background. I'll zoom out a little bit. And you can see here's every CSV file in the CSVConf repository on the master branch. Lots of limitations here still, but you can see a list of files in no particular order, and we are going to take a look at the schedule. And here we are. Hey, look, this is that CSV file. I found a fantastic little widget that lets you actually create a little Excel 95 looking interface, including the ability to insert rows and remove columns and change alignment. Actually, really fantastic stuff. And now we have a little interface. And let's say, you know, I think this room is full of great people. So actually, we're going to upgrade this room to room A+. And we are going to, because we are grading on a curve. All right. So when I hit submit, what's going to happen is, while I was looking at this file, I actually forked the project from CSVConf to my own account. Takes a couple seconds to do, so you just kind of do it in the background. When I hit this button, it is going to create a new branch. It is going to find this file, drop in those changes, make a commit with this message, push that commit back into my repo, and then be ready for me to make a pull request. Ideally, eventually, I'm actually going to open up the pull request. So let's see what happens. There's a solid chance this doesn't work. Such a solid chance. Hey, that actually means it worked. I promise. So now I'm going to go to, hey, look at that. Now, if I go over here, there's in fact a fork. And look at that. Less than a minute ago, Wizzy made a patch. And I can compare. And as opposed to you copying all of your code into a editor and making changes and breaking all the formatting, what I've done is I've gone ahead and automatically broken all the formatting in that file for you. A real service. You can see, for some reason I haven't figured out, it's decided that I've removed every line and then re-added them. Because diffing algorithms are hard, and code formatting is hard. So obviously, when I've reserialized this table back into CSV, it's not perfect. But imagine if everyone was using this, it would probably finally sort out the formatting. The important thing to note is, hey, look, room A+, and the commit message is grading on a curve. So the flow works. Obviously, not everything's perfect yet, but I could create a pull request right now. I think that would not be helpful, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to prove that you can. Sorry. Please do not merge this. Cool. Okay. Wonderful. So yeah, that's a really, really short demo of Wizzy, and really what I'm trying to show what is possible with the tools that are already out there. Really simple, but doing a lot for you, and hopefully doing more for you over time. So what's next for this project and just this experimentation in general? First, it's going to improve literally everything about what you just saw. Every error message, every interface, everything I do for you, every status bar that doesn't exist that shows you progress of what's going on, and hopefully support other formats. Want to get CSV working pretty well first, and by CSV I mean CSV and TSV and all the wonderful other versions of delimited files. My code path supports all of those already, so there's no sense in limiting them. Additionally, I want to support other things like JSON and Markdown. A lot of people keep their prose in Markdown and more structured data that isn't tabular in JSON. And you can kind of see like a record-based view with like little micro forms for each individual JSON file, or even just a helpful tree editor. Lots of things are possible here. And of course, your favorite data format should also be in here. The good news is that this project is, of course, open source and exists right now on an incredible website that launched recently called Glitch. Glitch is, imagine sort of GeoCities meets a collaborative code editor. It's all in the browser. This is actually all the code of the entire project. It's really not a ton of code, but Glitch is really cool. This is my pitch for Glitch. They automatically maintain all of your like node modules if you're trying to write a little server. Everything runs in the browser. Every time I make a change, it's redeploying the website automatically, good or bad. And it's really great for just really quickly building something out, sharing with other people, letting them remix it, add things to it. Glitch is great. I'm also going to make this code available as a plain GitHub repository. But Glitch is a really great way just to quick try something out. It was invaluable in being able to make edits, reevaluate, make edits, reevaluate, while as I raced the deadline. But what else is next? Hopefully by the end of this talk, someone will point out to me an existing tool that is actively maintained and is similar or better to what I have built, and I get to throw all of this away and share someone else's awesome work and go into the retreat into the sunset on my mighty steed. That's the best outcome. My goal is not to step on any existing work's toes. In fact, if I find it, I'm going to blast it to the world because stuff that makes this easier is critical to moving forward with open data. I also want to bug GitHub about the concept of an edit hook. GitHub actually lets you hook into their process all over the place and sort of inject your own functionality. And it would be amazing if your repository, you could say, hey, I have a visual editor for this, maybe this format of code or something, this directory of code, and when the user clicks the edit button, I actually want you to jump over to my interface. I think that's not outside of their mission. It would save them from having to build visual editors for every single format out there. I know they have some for Markdown, which are awesome, but obviously the long tail is huge, and it'd be a great spot to get the community involved. Obviously, something like what I've just built would be a possibility, what they could be. But I think edit hooks and the notion of being able to sort of associate an editor with the data in your repository would be a big step forward. And even if nothing else came of everything I did here, if this existed and other people built tools on it, that would be a huge success. And if I start bugging them, maybe y'all can start bugging them with me. So everything I showed here today is obviously super prototypical, kind of thinking out loud, but something I'm really passionate about. I want to be really clear. Everyone who's doing open data right now is amazing, and I love them. Everyone at GitHub is doing incredible work, and I love them. And everyone who's learning to code is amazing, and I love them, and I wish them all the best. But I want all of these things to just be better. I don't think they're bad, but I think there's a lot of ways we can work together, work forward, and make beautiful things together. So I'm Potch. There's going to be links. I'm going to post links to these slides. I'm also going to be posting links to the prototype. I'm going to post links to the code. And actually, if you've never used the edit button before, when you saw that pencil, you were like, whoa! There's a link to actually how to use the built-in GitHub edit flow. So if you found that interface daunting, hopefully you can at least learn what's there right now and make better progress. I want to have some questions, time for questions and answers right now. Thank you so much for your attention.